Hello, students. Let us start a new chapter of our moral science book, that is, People with Special Needs. Some person, by their strong willpower, conquer any disability. They do not blame their fate or indulge in self pity. Such people provide inspiration to millions of people. Children, can you think that if we lose any part of our body or if we become disabled, what we will do? Yeah, simply sometimes we'll start blaming our fate. We'll start blaming God for this kind of uh, harshness or cruelty shown to us. But there are some people who, instead of blaming their fate or indulged in self pity, they stand and provide an inspiration to millions of people by doing certain things which are what to say, which are not done by the normal people. They do some extraordinary things. So here are some people who were really stricken by such kind of disability, but they overcame the disability and they tried to prove themselves in front of the whole world, and they tried to uh, they set as an example of the people, those who are seriously blaming for their disability. Okay, so first we'll be seeing about Sudha Chandran. Sudha Chandran lost one foot in an accident. I think all of you know about Sudha Chandran. So she is a good actress as well as a perfect dancer. She did not give up her dream of dancing. Today, she is a famous dancer and actress. A movie called Nache Mayuri was based on her life, and the heroine of this film was Sudha Chandran herself. So, my dear students, you can see here that Sudha Chandran, though she lost her foot, but still, instead of um, uh, putting a stop to her passion, to her profession, she stood up and she tried her level best to become a perfect dancer as well as an actress. And then she too performed as a heroine in a movie named as Nache Mayuri. So she had set an example to the world. Next, we'll be talking about Helen Keller. Helen Keller became blind and deaf when she was 2 years old. So, my dear children, if anybody is suffering from this kind of disease, if we close our eyes for few minutes, we are not able to, we become uh, unconsciousness, we feel uneasy, we feel that we are not connected to the world. But the girl Helen Keller, she was blind and deaf, and Miss Sullivan, who was her teacher, she taught her to read and write in braille. So she wrote many books and did a lot to help the blind and deaf. So as she was blind and deaf, she studied. She started. She decided to complete her education, and she also helped to the people like her. Helen had an amazing memory, and she also had skills that very few people have ever been able to develop. So, what she can do, she could put her fingers in person's lips and understand the words that were spoken to her. Okay, so uh, she can touch the lips of the person who is speaking to her, and can understand what the person wants to tell her. So this was the um, amazing fact that was the skill which was developed in her. While she was in college, she wrote her book called The Story of My Life. She became famous and traveled around the world speaking to groups of people. So she wrote the book that is The Story of My Life, and she became very popular. She traveled to the whole world, and she met with many people, different types of people. Okay, and Helen Keller was successful because of her determination. As she was determined. She tried to overcome her disability. She tried to study. She studied as well as she helped the other people like her. However, many people helped her. The most important person in her life was Annie Sullivan, who stayed with her for 50 years. Next comes Ludwig van Beethoven. Ludwig van Beethoven was one of the greatest music composer. Children, can you think that if we cannot listen to the music, how can we feel the music? But the person Beethoven was deaf at the age of 28, but he did not stop composing music. He composed many greatest musical compositions. Then we'll be talking about Steppen Hawkins. Steppen Hawkins, he is one of the most famous living scientists, and he was born in Oxford, England, and studied at Cambridge University, where he is the professor now. He is no more now, and he died in 2018. He suffers from a paralyzing nerve disease and he cannot move any more than a few hand and face muscles. So, as he is suffering from paralyzing nerve disease, a type of disease in which he can only move his hands, a little movement he can show of his hand and the face muscles. But he gets around very well in an electric wheelchair, and he cannot speak, but he communicates effectively with a computer stimulated voice. So he cannot speak, but he can convey his message by the help of computer stimulated voice. So he has written a brief story history of time. It is one of the best selling books in the world, and he was elected a fellow of the Royal Society in 1974, being one of the youngest fellows. So, lastly, thought of the day is infirmity may touch our bodies, but it should not touch our mind. Exactly. If a person is disabled, that should not weaken his mind by thinking of his disability. If the person is determined, obviously he'll able to touch the sky and to do the activity which is impossible. So I must say that the persons to whom we studied now, they did the things which are impossible, and with great determination they proved themselves and set an example to the people suffering from such type of disabilities, and to the people those who have everything but they are not trying to gain any position in their life. So if the people have a determination, a mind, a healthy mind can win any battle. So in this way we have completed the chapter.